All right, everybody, we are coming in here to talk about autism, to talk about vaccines and autism, and discuss some of the myths around vaccines and autism. Thank you guys for being here. We're just barely getting started. Oh my goodness, Destiny! You have never once been the first person on my live, I don't think, Destiny. Wow, what a first! What a first! I think, is there a way for me to pin a comment permanently? I am proud too. I am very proud. Oh, it only pins for 60 seconds, huh? All right, that's fine. That's fine. All right, you guys, come on in. We're going to be having some discussions tonight. The topic of tonight's discussions, I want to have people in here who have thoughts about vaccines and autism. I think it's an important thing to discuss. Alicia, hello. Good to see you again. Freedom, hello. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. Who else do we have? Oh, Hart. Hello, Ellie. Good to see you. And Katie, hello. Morgan, good to see you guys. Yeah, very, very cool to see everyone coming in. Kay, hello, Katie, good to see you. Please be tapping on that screen. These first 5 minutes are probably the most important for tapping the screen, commenting. How's everyone's day today? Anything good happen? Anything good? How's everyone doing? Why do so many people joke about autism? Why is it such a joke to people? Haley, that is such a good question. And it's frustrating. I don't like it when it gets used in jokes. I don't like it when people self-diagnose or use it as a trend instead of a disability. Alicia says, I think it's important to get vaccines. Yes, many people are superstitious, but I think it's important. Thank you, Alicia. What a good comment. Yeah, there's a lot of people who truly believe that vaccines cause their child's autism. You know what? I address this with compassion because a lot of people that believe this had something happen with their child. And they had something that is traumatic happen with their child where they saw regression in their child. If you're an autism parent, let me know. Put parent in the chat if you're an autism parent. I want to see if we have any other autism parents in here. Because one of the most sad things that you can experience as a parent is seeing regression occur in your child. Alicia's a parent. Mama is. Pauline is. Look at this, you guys. We got a lot of autism parents in here. And here's the thing is, I am not mad at any autism parent that comes into my chat and they think that vaccines cause their child's autism. I am not mad at them. I disagree, but I am not mad at them. And the reason I'm not mad at them is because having your child regress and turn away from who they were, and it almost feels like a whole different child, your brain wants to find answers. I have 2 kids with autism. One of them was always delayed, but my daughter regressed, and it was really, really challenging to see that my daughter regressed. And so I have a lot of compassion for people who believe that vaccines cause autism. ISO, at what age? My daughter was about 14 months when she regressed. She was diagnosed with autism a couple weeks ago at the age of 19 months. And I still do not think that vaccines caused her to regress. Now, I have to be honest, I had to really break down the research. I've been in the autism world a lot, but I had never really, you mix those emotions into it, you think you knew what you knew, and you got to go research that again. Ellie says, my son was very talkative and advanced, so the regress was quite notable for us. Yeah. Okay, as we start this live, I want to be very clear about what we're doing here. We are having real discussions about whether you believe that vaccines cause autism. And I want to start this by sharing what I know about autism. As a professional that's worked in the field for over a decade, as a parent of 2 kids with autism, I want to share what we know about what causes autism. We know that autism is largely genetic. We know that up to 90% of autism can be attributed to genetics. On top of that, what about that other 10 to 20%? Hello, Lexi, good to see you. Along with the other 10 to 20%, we have identified risk factors. Now, what are risk factors? Risk factors are simple correlations that science has detected that they appear to be important. Things that obviously we can't show that they cause autism to occur in a child, but those situations in the environment tend to happen more often, resulting in a child with autism. So what are some of these risk factors? Well, we know parental age is one of those. Fathers who are over the age of 40 when the child is conceived increases the risk of a child with autism. Infections in the mother during pregnancy can result in autism. Other pregnancy complications, such as gestational diabetes or premature birth, or some oxygen deficiencies at birth. But if you notice, all of these risk factors I've stated occur before the child is born or during birth. We know of no risk factors after a baby is born related to autism. Now, if we did, I would speak about those. I am not paid by anyone not to report on those. We just don't have any of those. And so, do vaccines cause autism? No. Vaccines do not cause autism. Katie says, my son is a twin and he was developing normally, but all changed when he was almost 2. Katie, I'm so sorry. I'm curious, anyone in here, who here believes that vaccines contribute to autism? You don't have to believe it's everything, but do you believe vaccines contribute to autism? Now, I'd love to have conversations with people. I'm sending some invites up, but I'd love to have some just good conversations. I'm a nice guy. We're not going to yell at each other here, but I sent a couple invites out. If you want to have conversations, great. If you don't, I totally understand as well. I just think it's important for us to talk about. And remember, I'm kind. Don't be nervous coming up. Do you remember the person who came on and talked about an increase of autism in their community? I don't remember. I know a lot of people talk about the increase of autism. They talk about an epidemic of autism. Do you believe that there is an epidemic of autism? Destiny. Kylan doesn't yell. I might, though. Oh, Destiny. Yeah, Destiny might yell. Do you believe that there is an epidemic of autism? And I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Danny, you'd like to talk about it with me? I'd love to talk to you about it. I just sent you an invite if you want to talk about it. Were you saying you want to talk about the epidemic thing or the vaccines thing?
I'd like to talk about the epidemic thing with you.
I'd love to. Danny, where are you from?
I am from Chicago. This is actually my second time talking with you. We talked about a week or so ago.
Oh, I love it. Well, run me down, remind me what we talked about and what you want to talk about.
Yeah, so just to remind you, I do have a son. He's 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
He was diagnosed with autism at about 2.5. He's been in ABA for a year now.
Yeah.
He's been doing speech and OT for about 2 years, and he's been on leucovorin for 5 months.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
We've been seeing great progress with ABA, with all of his therapies, and with
Been getting
leucovorin as well.
So much
Yeah,
support.
so much support. He's been doing really good.
I love that.
But one thing I want to talk about with you, Kylan, I'm not sure if you remember, but a guy came up a few nights ago, maybe it was last week, and he mentioned how in his neighborhood, him, his sister, his cousins, his friends, they all kind of seemed to had a child with autism.
I do remember that. He was talking about like pesticides and stuff.
Yeah. Now,
Or
the
maybe
reason
I
I
brought
want to
up
talk
the
about
pesticides.
this is so I come from a community. It's called Romani.
Yeah.
Another word that people are familiar with is gypsy.
Yeah.
That word actually is a slur, but I
Yeah.
use it because not a lot of people know what Roma are.
Well, I appreciate you
So
for describing it that way so everyone can kind of follow.
yeah, absolutely. So in short, we are a very tight knit community.
Yeah.
In the United States, there are hundreds of thousands of Roma, and we all stay connected. Not
Yeah.
every one of us personally, but we are all connected in some sort.
Yeah.
One way we all keep in touch with each other is the Roma have their Romani churches. They're
Yeah.
Christian churches, but all churches are affiliated under one main church. So that kind of keeps all the Roma in every city a bit connected. And one thing that we realized is in the last 6 or 7 years, autism in our community has just blown up. And I understand that a lot of people will say, well, it's because diagnosis has got a little bit better. But I mean, like, it's obvious autism that we didn't see 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Children who are nonverbal, children who are showing those, clear signs of autism. And we just didn't see this 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's going on for the last 5, 6 years, and it's like every family has one child or knows one child
Yeah.
with autism. And I wanted to kind of see what you think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know that the current rates of autism in the United States are 1 in 31 children
Mm.
are diagnosed with autism. Now, as far as in specific communities, here I will also say this: that the diagnosis of autism that we have today was put in place in 2013. Before that, the word autism truly meant the most profound situations, and people didn't
Yeah.
get that diagnosis at age 2 or 3. If your kid was age 2 or 3 and not talking in 2013, your kid was just, a little bit behind, and we're gonna wait and see. So there was a lot of there was stigma around it, and you didn't really talk about it, and there was a lot more like, hey, we'll just kind of wait it out and see. And a lot of kids would, with age, they learn and they grow and they develop. And so I have to say that I am convinced that it is purely an increase in diagnosis because the diagnosis changed to include all levels of autism, not just the severe portion of autism. It is also, back then, the doctors didn't screen for it. Pediatricians now have to do a screener at 18 months and at 24 months. And so, you say we didn't see it then. I mean, maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you didn't notice it. Now that you have a child, it's kind of one of those things that now that I have a child, I see autism everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
when you buy a F-150, now you see that all the F-150s everywhere else that were
Right.
always there,
Right.
but you weren't paying
At every
attention
red
to
light.
it. Yeah.
Now, Kylan, I don't want to sound dismissive, but I
Yeah.
mean, my point is, I remember I was maybe 10 or 12 years old. I was really young, and I knew what
Yeah.
autism was at the time. And I remember going to a Romani church in town, and I saw one boy who obviously you can tell he had like autistic traits. He would make eye contact with his dad. He was nonverbal. He was about 8 or 9 at the time. And since then, I didn't see a lot of it. But like I said, now in the last 5 or 6 years, we have three Romani churches, or four in Illinois now.
Yeah.
And in each church, there's maybe 7 or 8 kids. And just 7 years ago, we didn't have it. I mean, and
Well, we're
all
seeing
the
the same
elders
with
and every.
adults. Adult diagnoses are going through the roof right now. And
Mm.
it's because, it wasn't being noticed back then. And I'm going to say you just weren't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say we don't know. The science community does not know if autism is increasing because we've only had the current diagnosis from 2013, but we have no data to indicate that it is. And if it is, it would only be slightly increasing. There's no evidence of like a widespread epidemic that it's increasing at an exponential or rapid rate. It's diagnosed more. And honestly, money has to do with this. And I don't know if people I own an ABA company, okay? And so I see this. There is motivation for ABA companies to diagnose your child with autism. They market to you. They want you to get your child diagnosed so that they can do services for you. And so now that you're bringing services into it, it's not just like more awareness, but more marketing and push from these service providers to get the children diagnosed. And for better or for worse, I don't know. I think part of it is, yeah, we just don't know. But I think, in my opinion, if we look at the increase in all of these things, why is the rate increasing? Well, diagnosing is happening earlier with pre-screeners that are in place that weren't in place before. The diagnosis as we know it today is only 13 years old. And so if you're saying 15 years ago people weren't getting diagnosed, well, like, yeah, they weren't. It wasn't there.
The numbers make sense. Yeah.
The numbers make sense. And to explain your situation, I just maybe that's your experience, that at that church that you went to there weren't very many, and now you have more. Like, that could be real. I also know that, like, long time ago, we're talking 80s, 90s, early 2000s, people were institutionalized a lot more, that you wouldn't see these people around.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I bring this up is because I do strongly believe, Kylan, that there is some external factor. There's some environmental something that's causing an increase in autism. It just, to me, it doesn't seem to make sense. I know so many people, so many friends and family who are just experiencing autism. And just a few years ago, I didn't know this many people. And I get your point about diagnosis, but this is like obvious even pre-diagnosis. And just a few years ago, none of my friends and family dealt with this. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I can't
when
count.
was your child diagnosed?
My child was diagnosed at the beginning of 2025.
Okay. And do you think that it's like, I don't know, part of this is that you were drawing attention to it and now you notice it? The whole, like, you notice whatever car you're driving kind of a thing?
No. It's we started seeing it before. I noticed this before my son was even diagnosed. One of my friends have so many people in his family, between his 2 sisters and his few like first cousins, his generation. So many of his family had kids with autism that he had one child and was worried to have any more because he noticed how many people have autism.
Yeah.
It's not only me. Like, a lot of people in our community are agreeing something's going on here. Something's causing all of this, because families who just never saw this are just seeing it all over the board.
Yeah.
I don't think it's vaccines. I really don't, because my oldest was vaccinated. My youngest wasn't, and he's the one with autism.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say it's vaccines, but I think there's something.
I would love to find more stuff. And here's what bothers me is right now the current administration is putting all resource into the vaccines. And that's why I want to talk about that tonight. Like, I'm fine if people want to look for more risk factors. Heck, it would be groundbreaking if they even found one risk factor of something that happens after birth. Because currently there is zero data that there's anything post-birth that is increasing autism.
Everything kind of says that it's what the mom was exposed to before birth, right?
Yep, or like trauma during birth, like premature birth. And so from that delivery day, we don't have any data from any risk factors after that. So I would love more research and resources. Like, hey, I would change my whole discussion if more data came out to say that there's risk factors of, a 1-year-old doing something. It's a very real possibility. But as we know it right now, all the risk factor is before.
They're spending their dollars in the wrong place. Another thing is with the leucovorin. The reason the leucovorin has been so long to get more research is because no companies want to do the studies because there's no money in the leucovorin for them. It's such a cheap drug.
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem profitable.
Yeah. I mean, that's one good thing. I think it was premature to do a press conference and say, like, everyone start doing it. But man, one of the pros of that is a lot of research is being done on it now. People can't run away from it. The research is going to be happening. And
I hope you look into a Kylan too, because for my son, we did the frat test.
Yeah,
he tested positive for the folate receptor antibodies.
Yeah, which
is why we decided. And everybody I talked to
that's
about
the right way to do it.
Leucovorin, I tell them to get the frat test before they started. Sure, it's harmless, but there's no reason to do anything for your child if they don't need it.
Yeah, you're spot on. What you're doing right there is a million times more evidence-based than any of these like fad diet or supplement fads going on right now. Like, there is real research to indicate, some improvement, but it's just limited and somewhat mixed. And I can't wait for more to come. So it really is. If you're gonna do it, you did it the right way. So. Props to you, man. I'm going to keep this conversation going. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. All right, have a good one. All right, you guys, if you are just coming in, we are talking about vaccines causing autism. My bold claim here is that vaccines do not cause autism. The autism is genetic, up to 90% genetic. Let's go ahead and read some other questions, and then I'll let up the next guest here. It could be much like cancer. Some may get it from cause A, some may not. Some may get it cause B. Jenny, the difference is cancer like spreads throughout life. Autism is like you have it or you don't. It's not like you catch autism and then you can regress autism. I have not read Brian Jepson's book, but if it's about reversing autism, I would definitely have issues with it. Genetics, is it due to the mother's side or the father's side? Either one. We have identified it's polygenic, meaning multiple genes associated with it. And we have identified over 500 genes that have been correlated with autism. That's why it's not a gene test that you can do to see if you have autism. It's not a genetic test. Let's see here. Oh, yikes. Buy the solution from this guy. Treat Yourself has all the answers here. My goodness. Yeah, I have all my citations, Michelle, in my bio. You can go check out my bio. Oh, Jenny, you didn't hear about the cancer analogy. Okay. Yeah, I just said that's a bad analogy because cancer like grows over time. Autism isn't like something you catch and then grows, or it develops and grows and worsens. It's something that you are born with and you can't reverse. You just support. All right, you guys, let's bring some more people up. Let's have some good discussions. Let's, if you guys think that vaccines cause autism, I want you to request in the chat. Rosie, I see you on there, but I don't think that you think vaccines cause autism. So maybe you can hop on tomorrow morning when we do the parents chat. Shelly, I've been saying yes to that for years about vaccines causing autism. Do you currently think that it is? My son has always had a disconnect with the world, has there physically, but not mentally. What can I do? Powder Pedal, I see quite often that sometimes it takes us getting on their level for us to understand them more. That is something that I do see. Tamati, I'd love to talk to you. Jessica, I'd love to talk to you as well. I put both of you in the chat box if either of you want to come up. But it's good to talk to you guys. Let's see. Who do we have? Tamati. Hello. Where are you from, Tamati?
Hi, good night.
Good night to you. Where are you from?
I'm from Jamaica.
You're from Jamaica? All right. Make sure you speak clearly into the mic, okay? It
Yeah.
sounds a little quiet. Might be your connection, but we'll see if we
Oh,
can make this
okay.
work.
Are you hearing me clearly now?
Pretty clearly. Yeah, I think it's okay. If you guys have a hard time in the chat, let me know and we can move on. But I'd love to hear what Tamati thinks. What do you think about autism and vaccines? And do you know someone with autism? Is this what kind of brings you to talk about it?
So yeah, funny enough, today I was sort of talking about this same thing. Today I said this because I have a son who's on the spectrum,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I said, I think exactly what I was thinking. I think the vaccine does have play a role in it.
Yeah. Tell me why you think that. What
I remember,
yeah, go ahead.
I remember my son being just an awesome baby, just sweet, innocent child.
Yeah.
And I just remember after giving him, like, after 3 vaccines or so, like, I don't remember how much month old he was, but the drooling was consistent. I mean, he was at the age where he drools, but after a time, I said, why is he still drooling so much? And there were just signs. And after getting a particular vaccine,
Yeah.
my baby he was just tearing.
So when did you
It just kind of
when did you first see
crossed
signs
my
of
mind for
autism
a
for your
minute.
child?
All right, so see, at this stage, I did not know much about autism,
Yeah.
right? But I just remember after this particular vaccine, um, my baby, he was just not the same.
Did he get a
And I
fever?
still didn't know about autism at this time. Yeah, he had a fever.
Yeah.
He wasn't his usual self, but still didn't cross my mind that it was autism or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
But like somewhere along the line, when
Yeah.
I started noticing it and he was walking on his tippy toes, all of that, I took him to the pediatrician. They ruled out that they said, oh, some kids develop a little bit later than some. He
Oh,
was
I
reaching
hate it when
some
pediatricians say
milestones,
that. When
but
pediatricians dismiss the parents' concerns with developmental delays, that's so frustrating to me. I'm sorry that happened to you. Let me ask you a couple questions though about this,
yeah,
because
I
why?
know as a
Let
parent,
me ask you a couple questions though, okay, about this. I'm curious about why the vaccines though? Like you might have seen a fever and regression happened around then, but I'm sure your child had milk around that same time, or your child might have, bonked his head, or your child might have, watched TV, or there's a million things that happen. What is it about the vaccines that makes you think that it has anything to do with autism? Does that make sense? Like we do a lot of
um,
things in the day. A lot of things happen to the baby. A lot of things happen that day that you noticed regression happening. What was it about the vaccines that made you think it was vaccines?
cause I don't know. You know how sometimes cause up to now, I always say, what is this for? What is the vaccines for, right?
Yeah.
And here in Jamaica, they make this mandatory. It's like you can't say
Can't go
no,
to school or
or
anything.
else your child don't get to go to public
Yeah.
school,
Yeah. Yeah, and
right?
it makes sense. I
So
mean,
you
the
have
herd
to take.
immunity. Everyone has to. Most people have to have it for everyone to be able to benefit from the immunity. Here's my thought though: is like, have you looked at any of the research behind it? Because a lot of people think like, oh, we just need to research this more. Like it just could be vaccines. We need to research it. Have you looked at what current evidence there is about it?
No,
Okay.
I've not.
Let me tell you a little bit of what's
It's
been
just
done. So they
something
what
that
we, what we
sticks
find
in
is
my
that there
mind.
are yeah, it sticks in your mind. I mean, it was something you lived. Look, your brain is doing exactly what it should do. Okay, you saw regression in your child. You saw problems. You saw vaccines. Your brain connected the dots. That's what our brains are designed to do. And a lot of times, it really benefits us. One of the really
Uh huh.
frustrating things is with autism, regression
Uh huh.
happens. Regression happens right around the same time that we get vaccinated. And so this correlation exists
Uh
all the
huh.
time. People see it. And so what they do, this isn't something that hasn't been researched. This has been studied extensively. Dozens of research articles. This has been researched more than just about anything in the medical community. Definitely the most studied thing in the autism medical industry. And what they find happens over and over again, that regression that you saw with your child, it happens equally whether a child is vaccinated or not. There is no correlation between getting vaccinated, and this is across millions and millions of children. And so I just encourage you to look at some of that research, because it can be so easy for us as parents to find that answer, but it's good for us to realize that even if you
Uh
didn't get
huh.
the vaccines, your child would still be autistic today.
Oh,
Yeah. I encourage you to keep looking it up.
okay.
We have a lot of people in the guest box. You have
So
a great
let
night.
me
Best
ask
to
you
you
a
and your
question,
family.
though.
Oh, go ahead. One more question, and then I'll go ahead and move on. Yeah.
So, do you think even because I'm 37 and I'm saying from that time until now, do you think that the vaccines have been modified since then? Because a lot of people will say we've been getting vaccine for ages. So what's the difference with them back then to now? And I say they have been modified from. back then
So you're saying it's like
to
safe
now.
now, but it
So it's
was
maybe
dangerous
a
then?
different set of vaccines.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it was probably not so much modified back then versus now.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect you. You have a great day. I'll talk on this just a little bit here. There is a little bit of a delay making the conversation back and forth kind of challenging. But let me address that a little bit. And so a lot of these worries of like how dangerous is the vaccine today, and what people are worried about. And you guys can tell me if you think vaccines cause autism, what is it in the vaccines that happens? I ask this all the time. It's always the same answer. The heavy metals, right? It's the heavy metals. Have you guys heard that? It's the heavy metals in the vaccines that cause autism. That's what we hear. That's what we hear. And yeah. And so here's the interesting thing. Do you know what heavy metals exist in vaccines? Do you know what heavy metals exist in vaccines? Put it in the chat if you know. What heavy metals are there that babies get that have heavy metals? What are the heavy metals that they get? Danny says very small amounts of mercury. So people hear mercury. Let's see here. And aluminum. Those are the two big ones. Those are the two big ones. Okay. So aluminum and mercury. Okay. Currently, did you know that the MMR vaccine contains neither mercury nor aluminum? That's true. That is true. No mercury, no aluminum. And aluminum is the big one that people are worried about. They put it in as what? An adjunct? Is that what it's called? To help it last longer. And people are really worried about the aluminum. Yeah, so mercury is found in one vaccine, and it's a variant of the flu vaccine that adults can get. And it's not methyl mercury, it's ethyl mercury. Ethyl mercury it clears out of the system very quickly and is not associated with mercury poisoning as you hear about it. So ethyl mercury, and it's in one flu vaccine that your babies don't get. So no mercury is going into your baby in the United States. The peer-reviewed articles, Antonia, if you guys want to check out the articles, they're in my bio. Check out the references. I got them all there. Okay, so what about aluminum then? What about the aluminum in the vaccines? Isn't that what's causing it, you guys? All this aluminum, the metals that go into the body, and then it spreads to the brain, and it makes your kid autistic, right? Okay, so aluminum. Let's talk about aluminum. Aluminum is one of the most common elements on the planet, one of the most common metals on the planet, okay? It is found in everything. In the vaccines, you expect to have 2 to 4 milligrams of aluminum during your infancy. Now, do you know how much you expect to get when you're breastfed? About 7 milligrams. Amy says, your mom is aluminum, and quite literally, that's what I just said. About 7 milligrams of aluminum your baby will ingest through breast milk during that same time frame. Aluminum also. Have you ever taken a Tums? Do you ever get a tummy ache at night, heartburn, and take a Tums? Do you know how many milligrams of aluminum are in one antacid medication? Up to 1 to 200 milligrams of aluminum in a single pill. In a single pill of antacid. Okay? That is 20 times the amount your child would get. And it's considered totally safe. It's totally safe for the body. at those doses. And so formula has a little bit more. It's like 50 milligrams or something that you expect to have. But here's another way to look at it. Okay, none of that matters. You don't need to worry about the aluminum content to the extent that we're worried about it. Like if we're talking thousands and thousands of milligrams, that's concerning. But it is, we have, let's see here. When you eat one slice of American cheese, you consume 5 milligrams of aluminum on average. That's more in one slice of cheese that you'll feed your baby. It has more aluminum than their entire vaccine schedule. How about aluminum foil? Yeah, let's not eat aluminum foil, you guys. Yeah. What you really have to look out for is the dihydrogen monoxide. Just whatever you do. It's actually, did you guys know that dihydrogen monoxide is the leading cause of death in children of autism? Did you guys know that? Dihydrogen monoxide is the leading cause of unaliving of a child with autism. Dihydrogen monoxide, otherwise known as H2O. Leading cause of death for kids with autism is drowning. When you put chemical names to things, it sounds scary. It sounds scary. The leading cause of death for kids with autism is drowning. We can talk about that another time. They're 160 times more likely to drown. It doesn't have to do with the chemical name dihydrogen monoxide. I was just being silly here because of how nervous everyone is about chemistry. All right, you guys, let's keep on chatting about this. Do they cause autism? Vaccines do not cause autism. They do not cause autism. Dino Up, that's not funny. Yeah, it is not funny that kids drown. And in fact, I've devoted a large part of my career to changing that statistic. So Mario says, what do you think causes autism? It's not really up to my opinion, but I'll tell you what the data says right now. The data is definitely against what Turbo says in the comments, that they contribute to them. No, the vaccines do not contribute. What causes autism? Turbo's going to tell us. Turbo's going to let us know. Hannah, am I ignoring you? I get so many comments on here. I haven't tried to ignore you, Hannah. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. They both bypass the stomach. Oh, are you trying to talk about vaccines that it's not going through the stomach? Okay. So it's not the leaky gut that you're worried about then. You're worried about it entering the bloodstream directly, not passing the, that has not been shown to be any more dangerous at those levels of aluminum. Has not been shown to be dangerous anymore at those levels. Do you have any studies to show that aluminum, 4 milligrams of aluminum is dangerous in any way? Hannah, I'm talking to you. I want to know. You were saying that I'm ignoring you. I'm talking to you directly right now, Hannah. You were saying I was ignoring you. I want to know, do you have any studies to show that 4 milligrams of vaccine or of autism, oh my gosh, I am struggling, 4 milligrams of aluminum will be dangerous? Yes. I'm not anti-vax. I was just saying I think it's different than ingesting it. Okay, yeah, sure, you're right, but it's the same. Like, it's going into your body, and your body has ways of filtering it out. It has not been shown to. Okay, great, awesome. I know you were really worried about me ignoring you. I wanted to make sure that we had the dialogue that you were hoping for. So if you have more thoughts, let me know. Love the conversation, you guys. Okay. It's more than 4 milligrams? What are you talking about, Shamsa? During infancy? I guess it depends on which ones. If you add up like throughout your whole life, it's more. I was comparing, when I say 4 milligrams, I think it's 2 to 4 milligrams in the first, like dosages through the 6-month appointment. And, each one has about the same. And then the comparison is formula around that same time, which is more. Melanie, you believe that vaccines cause autism. I will say that I believe that autism caused vaccines. I can't prove it, but I do believe that autism caused vaccines. Now, if you didn't notice, I switched that around because I think that people with autism are some of those most brilliant people that we know. The way that their minds work and bring order to society is incredible. And I absolutely love people with autism. What do you mean? I'm just referring to the fact that people with autism were likely involved in the development of vaccines. I don't have any evidence of that, but it is I would say a more likely claim, because I have no studies against that, than that vaccines cause autism. So, are generic vaccines the same as expensive brand vaccines? I'm not a doctor. I don't know all the details of that. Autism is genetics. It hasn't been passed down from vaccines. Misha gets this, you guys. Misha understands. Okay, you guys, if you don't know, I go live every day. Make sure you're hitting that follow. In the mornings, it's more of a parent support group for families of people with autism. In the evenings, we do more of a discussion, kind of debate. Some of my followers don't like me to say the word debate because I'm much calmer than a typical debater. We just have conversations. I want to hear people out. I really do. And I am very empathetic. And so make sure you're following me so that you can see when I go live next. What are some of the genes that cause it? Well, I don't know the names of a single one because there's over 500. It's polygenic. We can pull them up, though. That'd be a good thing to link in my bio. You know what, Jax? I'm going to link that in my bio tonight or tomorrow morning before I go live again. That'd be a good one to do. Okay. I know. Lexi says that I shouldn't say debate. How about seizures triggered by vaccines? Yeah, that's a real side effect of vaccines. I think it's about 1 in 10,000? 1 in 10,000 vaccinations, there's seizures associated. That's one of the most common side effects that people are worried about. But seizures aren't associated with autism either. Seizures don't cause autism, and vaccines don't cause autism. So I'm not on here to try to sell you vaccines, if that's what you're wondering. I don't really get into the other side effects. I will say, if you are worried about a serious side effect of vaccines, okay, if you believe that vaccines are so dangerous, but yet you're first in line to circumcise your baby, you are not thinking straight. You are not thinking straight. Now, I don't have anything against circumcising a child. A lot of people do. I've heard a lot of arguments about it, and it can go either way. There's risks associated with it, but also like circumcision as an adult is one of the most terrible surgeries that someone can go through, and it happens quite often. And so preemptive circumcision as an infant can be recommended by some doctors. But the risk of serious side effects, serious complications is 100 times more likely for circumcision than for vaccines. Circumcision leads to 100 times more likely to have a serious side effect than vaccines. Now, vaccines, the most common is fever, of course. Like that's like, I think it happens in like 20% of instances or something. But I mean, it's wild to me when people are like, I cannot vaccinate my child. I cannot risk my child ever having autism. But please go circumcise him. He must look just like his father. I can't let him look any different from his father. You can't put down the parents that did vax and lost their kids because of it. Yeah, did someone put them down? Yeah, don't put them down. It's terrifying. I mean, those side effects are real. All medical procedures have side effects. Everything is, everything has side effects. All right, you guys, let's bring up some more guests. You guys, who wants to have a conversation with me? I would love to talk to people. Absolutely would love to. Hey, Hannah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Where are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what are your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I literally just joined like 15 seconds ago. I've never seen like a BCBA on TikTok Live before, so I was really excited.
How do you know BCBAs?
So I'm currently in my master's program to become a BCBA through FIT.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Can I hook you up with something cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
I am the founder of ABA Wizard, and I'd like to.
No way.
I'd like to hook you up with all the goodies to study. Can I do that?
No way. That's awesome.
Message me, and I'll. Did you already buy any of my stuff already?
I've heard tons about ABA Wizard.
Okay, yeah. I'll send me a message. I'll hook you up. I have a product that's like the total learning system that has all the mock exams and everything. I'll enroll you just because I'm feeling generous and appreciative of other BCBAs coming up. So send me a message. I'll hook you up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Well, thank you for being up here. Do you have? I mean, you're going to school for this stuff. What side of things are you on with the autism and vaccine stuff?
Yeah, ironically, I'm in my ethics class right now. So, and just got an email from like the founder of my company on how to address certain things like this with, parents talking about vaccines and all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious where this falls ethically about talking about like vaccines and like having these open discussions, because like there is a professional way to address it for families and like other stakeholders, but like having it like on a TikTok Live, like I guess where does that lie? Like
I think it's such an important conversation to have. And I'm at the point where I don't even see any clients. If the board wants to come after me, that's fine. I kind of run my companies and do my thing. And here's what I'm seeing right now is I have children with autism, and their care is being attacked right now by the current administration. This fear over autism and vaccines has caused real damage that is threatening ABA services across the country. And so if me talking about this because I'm passionate about it makes people feel uncomfortable, I mean, that's okay. Now, if I was seeing someone on the professional stage as their insurance was paying me to consult with them, like I'd share data and stuff. Like there is. I'm curious your thoughts, because there's literally no data to support vaccines and autism are correlated, and there are dozens of studies to show this. And like obviously we have to be polite to people. I think I do a pretty good job at that. We have to listen to people. Yeah, that's my whole message. So I don't know what ethical concerns do you see? I'm curious.
In terms of the vaccines, I guess I do get conflicted because I'm on the same side as you. There's absolutely zero studies that support that claim. I guess I just get worried about the rapport built, that if a family was very like, this is real, like I'm no longer taking Tylenol, or like I'm not getting vaccines, like if I were to counter that, even in like a professional sense,
it's not
I still
within your
feel
scope
like that rapport would be damaged.
Right? And it's more about your scope as that person's BCBA. Like when I'm up here, I am not 224 people's BCBA. I'm a guy who happens to be a BCBA. And you can talk about the things that you want to talk about, even if you are that credential. But when you are working with your client, there's rapport. There's also, if I have clients, here's the difference. There's other things that I'm passionate about too. I'll talk about detox on here, that a lot of parents, the moment you get a diagnosis, people try to sell you detox supplements. I mean, it is crazy what shows up on your For You page. And I'm pretty passionate about that stuff here. And on here, I'll tell people all about the data. I'll say, here's what the data says. And that's what people, they come up, they ask me about what does the data say. And I've done a lot of research into it. And so I am glad to say it. Now, if I have a client who says, hey, we're going to try detox, I might say, okay, tell me about it. Where did you find this? Let's talk about it. Are you open to discussions about it? And I kind of gauge where they're at. If they're adamant about doing it, and I have had clients do this, and I don't get mad at them. I understand we're all just trying to do what's best for our kids. And what I do is I tell them, let's take some data. What behavior are you hoping the detox addresses? That way we can make sure that in our ABA practice, we don't address those behaviors so that we can see if your detox protocol sufficiently addresses the behavior. And we try to rule it out. We take data. We do it with love, and it's definitely a different discussion if you're on live versus if you're, I also don't come on live and tell people detailed things of how to support their own child. Like I haven't done an FA. I'm not their BCBA.
That's fair. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that was such a great way to kind of like open the floor and be like, okay, like where did you get that information from? Like what, like got you to this, choice or conclusion, and then like being able to kind of like show otherwise. I think that's a really great way to address that kind of situation. I had one more question, if that's okay.
Of course.
I know you have a lot of people on here. I don't know a lot about this. Again, like I'm 24. I've only been in the field for 4.5 years. And a lot has changed already. But I've heard, I have a client that has, they have been using this medication that was prescribed by their neurologist that supposedly helps with like brain synapses and like connections and stuff. And yes, that's what it is.
Have you heard much about it? Do you want me to share my thoughts on leucovorin?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Leucovorin, I am excited about. There are currently 5 randomized clinical trials out there for leucovorin. It is the general practice that pediatricians and medical providers are not yet prescribing it by default for kids with autism. Now, about 6 months ago, in September of last year, RFK Jr. and Trump came out with their big announcements about blaming Tylenol and then celebrating leucovorin. Now, that was done prematurely as far as the leucovorin goes. Tylenol, it was one study, which it was accurate that one study showed a correlation, but they failed to recognize the many studies that occurred after the fact, pulling apart confounding variables. But the leucovorin one, there is some promising evidence for to support people with autism. However, one of the largest studies that we were so excited about 3 weeks ago was retracted due to inaccurate data. And so now there currently exists only 4 leucovorin randomized clinical trials. And of those 4, it's fairly optimistic for small impact for a subset of people who have autism that can go in and take a test. It's called the FRAT test or the FRAD test, and can measure if you are deficient in folinic acid. And for those who are, that seems to be the subset that benefits the most, but it's still fairly early on. There's also side effects of the medication where it can increase agitation and other problems. And I would say with all of those, like that's one of those, that's not the same as detox. That's not the same as the gut health, gluten-free stuff. That's not the same as like vaccines causing autism. This is like, there are actual studies to show it.
Yeah.
And it's just early on. And with my 2 kids with autism, we have opted not to even test for doing the FRAT test yet until there's more studies out there. Just because we need dosing information, we need more side effect information, and just more data overall. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that was very insightful because I had no knowledge of that whatsoever until a parent came up to me and was like, "Yeah, like my kid's doing this now," and I was like, "What?" All right. And then again, this is very, very, very small sample size, but increasing communication and interaction and eye contact, which we did not see for the past 2 years. And I was like, well, there definitely seems to be a correlation. So yeah, I was really glad to hear your insight on that.
And it's hard to tell because we need randomized clinical trials. We need some kids on placebo, some kids without placebo, and to really see if that medication, because kids also just tend to grow. You're also doing therapy with them. Why do you think it's leucovorin and not your like high quality ABA that you're doing with the kid? You know, like that we gotta and just normal maturation of a child. And so anytime that we say like, oh, we got the vaccine and then this happened, or like started leucovorin and progress happened. Like that is a great anecdote. And I am so happy for progress, or, you know, it's okay if you personally believe that, but those are simply anecdotes one way or the other. And really to recommend certain interventions, we need more of these like blind randomized clinical trials that we're able to assess. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Again, message me. I'll hook you up with some ABA Wizard stuff. That's it's kind of my side thing that I do. Kind of fun. Yeah. So
that would be amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, you guys. Hello. How's everyone doing? Has this been fun for everyone? Are we doing good? How long have we been going? Oh, we're almost an hour in already. My goodness. How are we an hour in already? Man, that behavior analyst in training, I like her. She came up and she's like, hey, should you really be doing this as a BCBA? Should you really be talking about these things? And it's interesting. In school, they terrify us. They talk about the ethics of going outside of being a BCBA. And a lot of people think you can't have opinions, or you can't learn anything other than being a BCBA. And yeah, if I'm billing BCBA codes and working with a client as a BCBA, then I need to absolutely stick to my license. But going on TikTok and having these discussions, it's healthy, you guys. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yana says, yes, thanks for the info. Data is so important. Is ABA something I can do with my kid at home? Yeah, yes. So applied behavior analysis can happen at home or at clinic. And you just need to find what options are available in your area. There's benefits to both. I do both with my child. Kay, do you highly promote ABA then? Well, we do. So on this channel, there are 4 primary therapies that we recommend for people with autism. They're really the basics. And it's not the first step either. I recommend to people the very first thing, if you have a child with autism, you need to build your village. You need to surround yourself with people that care about you, that can help support you. So build your village. Number 2, get a diagnosis for your child, get clarity of what's going on. And then part 3 is build your care team. And there's 4 therapies that we recommend that you look into, and not all of them are correct for everybody. So ABA therapy tends to have the most volume, up to 40 hours a week sometimes. And occupational therapy is another one that we recommend. Speech therapy, and then as the child becomes conversational, mental health therapy can be great. And so doing those 4 therapies, or considering those 4 as the frontline options to support people with autism, is really great. What we end up happening is we start getting into these fringe sciences of all these other things that can help, all these other people that need to pay, go and take a $700 oat test to determine if you have yeast in your gut, and, take supplements that have not yet been established to address autism. I mean, there's all of these things that are not yet evidence-based. But you keep in mind, 20 years ago, ABA therapy and OT were not in this list. They were not the frontline treatment and therapy for kids with autism. And so as the science grows, as we learn more, these recommendations change. But we go with what insurance pays for, what we've learned. And if more research comes out on the gut health stuff, or on stem cell therapy, or on any of these other fringe sciences right now, then we'll talk about them more. Therapy is good, but until you don't detox or if you don't fix the cell, you won't get well. Autism's not a disease, man. Autism's not something that you got to detox from. Autism isn't toxins in the brain. It's the way the brain was formed. Tito says, how does occupational therapy help? What a great question. Occupational therapy. I really promote occupational therapy, especially when a child has high sensory needs. So when you have a child with high sensory needs, a lot of times we need to make sure that those needs are met. And behavior analysts, they're great at identifying that something is a sensory need, but they're not trained as in depth as occupational therapists on diving into those specific sensory needs and what tools and toys and supports can be available. Occupational therapists also tend to be highly trained in feeding therapy. Some occupational therapists, each one has different strengths and what is the word? Expertise. So, yeah. There's overlap, though, between OT and ABA for sure. It's not letting you guys request in. We can invite people up. I'd love to have more conversations for sure. I know I first saw, who was it? Let's see. What about the DiStefano study? Was that the one with 33 people with autism? Is the DiStefano study the one with 33 people with autism that they studied? Let's take a look. Does diet help, like gluten-free? There is no significant evidence that shows that gluten-free diets are helpful to address autism. Unless there's underlying medical concerns like celiac disease, absolutely. Gluten-free is going to be a must. But that's going to be working with your doctor. Do not go gluten-free or change your child's diet significantly if you haven't consulted with a pediatrician. Let's see here. All the DiStefano studies. Okay, there are DiStefano studies showing that the MMR vaccines do not increase the risk of autism. Is that the one that you're sharing about? Awesome. Have you heard of SOS approach for feeding therapy? You know what? I'm not super trained in feeding therapy. And so I am not trained in that. Michelle, teach me. I'll invite you up. Come up and teach me, Michelle. Michelle. I'd love to know. Come on up here. Michelle, where are you from?
Hello. We spoke the other night, upstate South Carolina.
Upstate South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Great. What did we talk about the other night?
Some vaccines things.
You have let's see, you had a child who regressed, right?
Yes, I have an 8-year-old.
Yeah. I talked to a lot of people. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah. Tell me, what is the DiStefano study that you're looking at? Let me look it up and we can analyze the results together.
It is a study that sampled the population of Metro Atlanta.
What's the name of the study so I can look it up with you?
It's 2001 CDC DiStefano et al. Study, MMR vaccination and autism risk, published in the journal Pediatrics.
Okay.
MMR vaccination and autism risk.
And what is the conclusion of that one that you feel like that one has a conclusion of?
They found that African American boys were 2.5 times more likely to develop an autism diagnosis after they received the MMR on time versus the African American boys that received MMR after 3 years of age.
Okay, let's see.
You might have to do some digging, because I am on a.
What does this mean to you? Tell me what this means to you when you find this. What are you sharing this to say?
That vaccinations play a role in causation of autism.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the paper itself did not report increased risk for Black children, but there was a reanalysis of the preliminary subgroup. Suggested higher odds ratio, 2.6, for Black boys vaccinated before 36 months, but it relied on incomplete data. What data did it use? The data set was...
Would you also be willing to look up William Thompson? Would you also be willing to look up William Thompson, CDC whistleblower?
Yeah,
former scientist for CDC.
Let me look up this one first. Let me look up this one.
Okay.
Okay. So hold on. What I'm seeing here is that it showed an increase based on some data, but then when it was restricted to accurate or actual birth records, the signal went away. Larger studies since then have not found a racial vaccine autism risk difference. So there have been studies. Let me find a study since then that maybe has a larger group that we can look at. Because if you find a correlation one time, if it's true, it needs to be able to be replicated, right? You don't trust one source.
Yeah.
Needs to be replicated. So let's see what's happened after.
I do believe that, the president appoints CDC, EPA, FDA, all the heads of those organizations. So do you really think that they're going to put out the studies, which have definitely been done, showing any kind of correlation to the vaccines, because you're taking away their
do you think
profits.
that the CDC picks what studies to publish? Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely.
You think the CDC picks what to publish? You think the CDC is where everything gets published?
Oh, no, not everything gets published through the CDC. But as far as their research, no, listen to me.
Okay.
Their research, if they find most, the media is bought out by people who, like the media, the stations. Just take a minute. Hold on, listen.
Yeah.
The media, all the news stations and everything, they have incentives because vaccine companies pay them to share their commercials, right? So all the media is bought out. And all the major research, I know that there's like journals and periodicals and things like that do the publishing. And not all the research is done through CDC. There's researchers part of universities and things like that.
Yes, that's where it happens. Everyone wants to be the name on the page. Everyone wants to be the researcher that says, I found that vaccines cause autism. That person would be a celebrity, a hero to so many people because they found what everyone else believed to be true.
To the general population, but not to the elites who want the money.
Oh my God, not to the elites who have the money. Okay.
So the studies are censored, just like everything else is censored. They're not going to put out studies that show a correlation of causation.
Who's not going to put it out? The journals?
The
CDC doesn't put the articles out.
It's censored. The media is censored.
Who censors it? Who censors the journals from picking? Okay, the process is, let me break down the process.
Because they'll lose
any research,
funding.
any study, you can go out and say, I'm going to do a study on vaccines. Okay, this is how it works. You can say, I'm going to go and do a study on vaccines. You go to an institution and you say, I'm doing this study, and I'd like to run it through your institutional review board, your IRB. You run it through the IRB. They're going to have questions, and they bring it up. And then you can run the study. And then with those results of that study, you can then, what's that?
There are people that sit on the board of these universities that have ties to the vaccine companies and therefore get paid or whatever. So they make the decisions on what is put out to the population, what studies get released.
Okay. So why is it that the only time that we have had vaccines show up linked to autism, the Wakefield study that was shown to be completely fraudulent because he had ties, that was the only evidence of big pharma interfering with studies, because Wakefield, for those of you that don't know, Wakefield was the first one to introduce this a study of vaccines causing autism. It was the MMR, and he was affiliated. He was a stakeholder and a competitor to the currently used MMR vaccine, and it was not disclosed.
A lawyer approached him and wanted to use him as a consultant for the parents who were claiming that their kids were injured by the vaccines. He then turned around and did a study that wasn't completely ethical because he failed to report, have ethically approved the procedures that he was doing.
Wait, do you think that's the only issue with it? With the
what
study?
Other issue is there?
I mean, it was found to be completely fraudulent. It was like his license was removed. Or that was just the elites. That was the elites. Oh, sorry, I forgot. That was the elites who attacked him. Okay, now I'm understanding. Hey, question for you.
The medical history.
I have a feeling I know how you're going to answer this, but how do you feel like the current administration is treating people with autism and disabilities?
I think they're really trying to get to the bottom of it. I do trust Bobby Kidney to get to the bottom of it, and they had a big summit today.
Do you know what they have done to services for people with disabilities since they have been in office? And this is not a political live. I do not talk about one side or the other. I'm just as critical as whoever's in power. I care about my kids and what services they get. Do you know what has happened to our current supports and services in the past year in the autism world?
I think there has been found a lot of fraud. So maybe that, limiting services to those that really need it, but I haven't heard much else.
Oh my gosh, it's cut everywhere. It is cut everywhere. I mean, I had to spend so much time at the Utah State Capitol because they were looking at putting in so many cuts to people, a 10% cut to all services of people with disabilities. These are people, it's not fraud that's happening. They said, we need to cut out fraud from all of this. They cut all the Medicaid budgets, and now what the states are doing are cutting services to people with disabilities. And so, I mean, I have a hard time believing what you're talking about because you're all for we are going to root out all of the elites. We're really going to do what matters. But when it comes down to it, all that we're doing right now is ableism. It's harming people with disabilities. It is saying autism is a disease that women caused and that we need to cure. I mean, it is atrocious.
I would really look up the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Bill Gates, and all the involvement that they have to the vaccine program globally and in our country.
Yeah. But this idea that you couldn't publish a study that shows, your claim right now, do you know how absurd it is to say that?
Oh, there's not going to be a study.
Do you know how absurd it is for you to be able to say, it is so absurd for you to say that no one could publish something that says vaccines cause autism, that the elites just would not allow it. Like that.
Your claim's not legit either because genes do not change that fast.
What do you mean
Gene mutations do not happen that fast. You're claiming that it's genetics. So if we go and look at autism prevalence has increased dramatically. It was 1 in 2,500 in the 1970s. In 2000, it was 1 in 50, and 1 in 31 now in 2026. Genes do not change that fast across generations.
Do you know when the current autism diagnosis was established and written out as it is currently written?
No.
2013. Before 2013, autism only included profound autism. Do you think that might have something to do with the increase in rates?
No, because it wasn't there. It wasn't there. There was no autism back then.
What?
It was very rare. It was very rare.
Is this real life?
1 in 2,500. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't think autism existed?
I dare you.
How?
I dare you to go watch Truth About Vaccines.
Well, you're switching the subject. You're saying autism didn't exist until recently. That is wild.
Saying it wasn't as prevalent.
No, I'm saying it wasn't as prevalent. Didn't exist. Okay, you're taking a step back. It wasn't as prevalent.
I said it was very rare, and it was
very rare.
It's not as prevalent.
Okay. But you do understand that what was diagnosed before was profound autism, right? It wasn't autism. You know, your kid with that, you know, we screen today, they didn't scream back then. They didn't know it. They didn't have the autism spectrum.
It was very rare. A lot of
the spectrum
most
was not
kids
rare.
didn't have it.
We defined it differently.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
No.
You are very misinformed on this topic. What do you think about all the adults who are currently getting diagnosed, like 40 and 50-year-olds who are like, I was autistic my whole life and my parents ignored it? Like, the autism rates aren't just, the reason it's going 1 in 31 isn't because all these babies are getting autism. It's because people like you who have children with autism start looking at themselves. It happened to me today. Someone caught on. I told someone that I like to wear the same shirts every single day. And they're like, hey, your autism is showing. And it's like, you know what? Like, I don't know. It made me second guess. Us adults are questioning, do we have autism? And now we are going back and getting that diagnosis. And so, which vaccine do you believe causes it? And what in the vaccines causes it?
I don't believe there's any one vaccine. I think that it is the whole of the childhood vaccination schedule, because so much goes into those vaccines.
Like what? What in there do you think it is?
Aborted fetal tissue. You have monkey kidney cells from an African green monkey that was taken years ago. You have pork cells. You have aluminum, obviously. Formaldehyde. If you look at things about Surcruz, like Surcruz carries things across the blood-brain barrier. Fetal bovine serum, which is a blood product. You have antibiotics like neomycin. It's so bad. Like, they don't have any safety data on how, if you give, for instance, like my child was given 7 different either inactive agents or attenuated viruses in 4 different shots, plus 13 of the pneumococcal and the PCV. Like, all of those ingredients at one time. Do you disagree with any of those ingredients that I said?
Well, I don't know.
It's on the Johns Hopkins
website. I was hoping you'd talk about heavy metals. You brought up aluminum. They absolutely
are in there.
I can talk about aluminum and mercury.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Are you concerned about the aluminum and mercury?
Mercury as thimerosal is only found in the flu vax now. They took it out of 3 childhood vaccines in 2001.
Yeah.
The aluminum.
So did we see a decrease in autism because of that?
No, because they put aluminum in the other things.
Oh, it's the aluminum. Okay.
So they put, and it's not just the aluminum. No, it's like all of them. But the aluminum, like, for instance, you're not supposed to give any more than 5 micrograms per kilogram And I did some math, and my child was given over 800 micrograms in one visit of aluminum. How's that
So
safe?
micrograms? What's a microgram versus a milligram?
I'm not really sure, but I did the math and I did it correctly. So,
let's find out. I want to find this out because I want to make sure I'm telling people correctly here. But there is more. I mean, there is more aluminum in a single slice of American cheese than there is in the first 6 months of a baby's life.
You're not injecting it though. So the aluminum that I'm talking about, the 5 micrograms per kilogram, that is recommended for IV feeding. So that is the closest thing we have for injecting.
You're talking micrograms. It's just milligrams that you talk about. Micrograms are 1,000. So if 8,000 milligrams is or 8,000 micrograms is 8 milligrams. You ingest about 200 milligrams when you take a single Tums pill.
But that's different. Tummy. You, for lack of better words, poop that out. But when you put it in your arm,
then it goes straight in the brain and causes autism.
It goes in your bloodstream. No, I'm not saying it goes in the brain. I'm just I'm not 100% saying that.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no studies for that.
What you're spraying though is a bunch of fear. I mean, a bunch of fear. What you breathe in. We already know that like pollutants are one of the leading risk factors. Are you this like gung ho about preventing?
Why would you say genetics then? I mean, let's turn that back around. Why would you say genetics?
I said leading risk factors. It's 80 to 90% genetic with 10 to 20% risk factors. One of the leading risk factors is pollutants during pregnancy. Every risk factor we have. Why is every risk factor that we have during pregnancy? I mean, what is the motivation of the elites here to allow all of these studies to come out about all of these environmental risk factors? Because there's a bunch of them. We have a bunch of environmental risk factors. Why aren't the elites shutting up these people talking about it? I mean, do we really want people to know about vaccines?
I'm gonna bring this all back around to the whole elite thing.
Okay.
Take a minute. Okay, so before the measles vaccines, the mortality was down to 1 in 500,000, and that only 400 a year got sick and died from the measles. Then the vaccine came out, and we're vaccinating all our children with the MMR to protect 400 people. Now listen, if you think about that is the biggest scam because that's like 5% of our population that could possibly die from the measles if it was wild. And would they give medicine to only the 5%? Or would they give something to the 95% to make money?
Your claim is saying that the MMR vaccine prevents 5% of the population from dying. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But we shouldn't do that. That is like the 5% doesn't matter. We should.
There are studies that show that
I don't know if that's true, by the way. 5%. That sounds really high to me, actually. I did not think 5% of the population would die without the MMR vaccine. That is really high. I'm glad you told me that.
Well, no, because now also sanitation and living conditions and water and nutrition has gotten way better. So a lot more than just the measles dropped in mortality rate before vaccinations came out. So why are we really vaccinating our children? But also there are studies that show...
If you see a study, how do you know if the elite had something to do with it? Like, what if something was published right now that said vaccines cause autism? Would you believe it?
Well, I just told you that...
No, just answer this. If a study came out today and said that vaccines can cause autism, would you trust that study?
If it was double-blind study and it absolutely proved it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And now, what if...
Science is science.
Hold on.
I believe in science.
What if today a study came out that showed that there's zero correlation between vaccines and autism, and it holds up to the most rigorous test that you can think of? Would you believe that if that came out today?
I would believe it. I would believe it, but I highly
Amazing.
doubt that's going to
Okay,
happen.
we already have those. Check my bio. Thank you so much for being up here. We have so much research that shows that there is no correlation between vaccine and autism. And so I am so glad that you believe that and that you're consistent with your beliefs there. I was really worried there for a second that you were going to say that you wouldn't believe that one, that the elites would rule that one out. So I'm glad you were internally consistent. In all honesty, though, I shouldn't have kicked you so fast, because before you left, I really did want to be super kind with you. Guys, I want us to be kind to her. She's a fellow autism mom. And if anybody has reason to believe that vaccines caused autism, it's someone like her who actually saw this happen. Okay? I don't believe that's what happened. Like, I believe that we have not identified any correlation between vaccines and autism. But for a mom to have to go through that, there's not very much more trauma than that. And so I am, you know what, like I fully support her, and I'm okay with her having a different opinion. I wish that she could be open to some of the data and that we have, because it's well established. It's well established. Yeah, unfortunately, autism moms have every right to believe what they want in relation to what causes it. Angie, yeah, but we can't take their opinion to lead us to make public policy or to impact the data. It shouldn't be, do you believe that vaccines caused autism? It should be, did vaccines cause autism? And the way that you would measure that is you need to look at all of the studies that show that look at people not vaccinated and vaccinated and see, is there any association between vaccines and autism? And it's been demonstrated over and over and over again that there's no correlation. You guys, if you are new here, make sure you follow me. We go live every day. Thank you for the hand heart earlier today. Thank you for all the heart me's. That was super kind. We had a couple hand hearts, and I really do appreciate that. I want y'all to know that we're talking to people with compassion, and these are real people that have gone through real experiences. Okay, this isn't your like, let's go bash on politics kind of debate here. These are real situations and very, traumatic instances that have happened in people's lives. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? With the mama of two, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. I don't always get gifts on here, and I really appreciate it. Yes, they do, but it's not a genetic thing, but an epigenetic thing. Discussion, that is definitely a factor, the epigenetic thing. Epigenetic tends to be how the genes actually play out, and environment can impact the epigenetics. You're actually right on that one, discussion over. The epigenetic stuff is really fascinating. Oh my gosh. What was that, Shanika? What was that? That was a cake or something? That was really cool. Thank you. We're going to keep talking here for another minute. You know what? It's only 9:53 in Utah. It's only 9:53 here in Utah, and I'm having fun. You guys. You're the best. All right, you guys. Yes, I'm in Utah. Yes. I do live in Utah. Can we have a discussion over how some places make you choose either ABA or school? Yeah, mama of two, it is hard to have to pick between ABA and school. Absolutely. Jennifer Walker says, I don't believe it's from Tylenol during pregnancy either. Yeah, I don't believe that. Well, I will say that there is more evidence for that than there is vaccines, for sure. There was a study published from Harvard, that showed a correlation between Tylenol usage and during pregnancy and autism. That is true. And what that should do when we see a correlation, it was a weak correlation, what that should do is prompt further study. When you have one piece of evidence that says that, someone is more likely to be impacted by something to cause autism, we need to look at that and take it seriously. And so they did. And you know what? Do you know when people take Tylenol? People take Tylenol during pregnancy when they have infections, when they're sick. And do you know what one of the environmental correlations are with risk factors with autism and pregnancy, it's infections. And so was it the Tylenol or was it the infection? Well, and when they've rooted out a lot of those confounding factors, also something to do with siblings, I need to understand better. They found that there is no correlation between Tylenol and autism in much larger studies. So, all right. Yeah, Rio says a lot of moms take them for pain as well and not infections. Yeah, one of the things that bothers me so much is this idea of like, that was a damaging press conference to go out there and tell pregnant mothers not to take Tylenol. One of the only sources of pain relief that a pregnant woman is able to take. And to say like do not take it. Yeah. Anyway, oh my goodness. David, if you can come up. I'd love to talk to you. It's harmful to women, you guys. It really is. It's harmful to women when we pass blame onto things within their control that it actually has nothing to do with them. Okay, that's passing blame onto women, and then it's us putting them into the workforce to help people with autism, not paying them enough. All of that. Hello, how are you?
Hi. I'm not passing blame. My ex wouldn't acknowledge my daughter's issues.
Oh my goodness, how old's your daughter?
And she's 5.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up separating, and then she moved 8 hours away and won't acknowledge that she needs help or to be on wait lists for stuff.
Where's the daughter now?
She's 5 years old and can't speak in full sentences.
Okay. Wow. Is she with you or is she with the mom?
With mom.
Okay.
Because
oh my gosh,
that's the way things work. And I tried to tell her, hey, we gotta. My first cousin is fully nonverbal and autistic.
Yeah.
And
does your daughter have an evaluation done yet to see if she has autism?
The school tried to do it, and she kept her out of school and denied it.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
How are you doing, man? How are you holding up with all this?
Not great.
Yeah. When was the breakup?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look, the evidence is very clear that the earlier that you're able to start some of these early interventions, the better the outcome.
100%.
100%
agree.
I know you know this. And so I'm just, for those watching, this is part of this man's frustration, you guys. Imagine having your daughter and not having any ability to move things forward. What about medical custody? Do you guys have shared joint medical custody? Because usually that's separate from what is it called? What is?
Yeah, but she won't communicate. She doesn't even tell me anything. Yeah. Right. So.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. What are your thoughts? What's been going through your mind? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this?
Well,
what can you
I'm
do?
gonna be filling out like court paperwork and maybe filing some sort of negligence stuff, right? Because if the school has brought it up because I know the schools have probably brought it up as issues.
Yeah.
Because if she's going into grade 1 and she can't speak in sentences and doesn't communicate, like the schools obviously know there's an issue. If she continues to deny that, there's going to be
is it simply that she's not acknowledging
the parental negligence on the medical behalf, right? Like you can't just ignore that shit.
You can't. Is it mostly here the concern of acknowledging the disability, or do you have concerns with the safety of your daughter and the well-being and the care that she's receiving in your?
It's not so much about the safety. I just don't think she's getting the support systems that she needs.
Yeah, good. Okay, so with that, then it's you are spot on. We need you. Yeah, you need to address this immediately. Like she needs a diagnosis tomorrow and needs to start therapies. And what she needs to know is being an autism parent or a parent with someone with disabilities is extremely challenging. I mean, it is so hard. And the
I don't know where
diagnosis
you
doesn't
live,
take
but
it
I live in
away. It adds support. It gives her freedom. I mean, the moment she has a diagnosis, she could get up to 40 hours a week of someone coming into her home one-on-one working with her child.
100%. Not only that, in the school system as well, you're going to get a EA or someone who works one-on-one with her, right? Like,
yes.
And her speech has come along, and she is like able to say her needs, but she's not like speaking in sentences. It's, hungry, juice, this, like she developed normally up to a certain age, and then she regressed.
Yeah. You need to get a court order to get a diagnosis is my recommendation. If you don't have, first find out if you have medical custody already. Then you don't need a court order. You can kind of push it other ways, but yeah, you need to.
It's just so difficult to deal with. Like her parents are also just nightmares, and they are like not in a healthy relationship. She was not raised in a healthy family.
Yeah,
and they enable like behaviors like that. And
is it what is it that makes her ignore this?
Her mom was big on, she's normal, she'll grow out of it.
It's just this like not wanting to accept this like
100%,
extreme denial that anything's wrong with the child. Yeah,
100%. And I brought it up all the time when we were together, and she was just like, "Oh, like you don't accept your daughter." I'm like, "No, my cousin is fully nonverbal. He's 2 years younger than me. I'm almost 30.
Yeah,
like I see the signs.
Yeah.
I love her. I love her so much, and I know what the wait lists are like, and I know what the struggles are.
Yeah.
I live in Canada, right? Like, and if you don't get on a wait list,
Okay, yeah. I don't know anything about legal system there, or custody battles, or anything like that over there. But I do know there's resources in Canada. You guys have resources for disabilities and autism and therapies.
100%. But you have to get a diagnosis and get on the wait list.
Yep. You're exactly right. Look, I'm worried for her, man. Like you can only deny it
struggled
for
with
so
my own
long.
stuff throughout my life because I had an early diagnosis of ADHD and had struggles with reading and comprehension and stuff.
Yeah.
And
you know what's interesting is in most situations that I have seen, it is the mother who is fully accepting the disability, and it's the father who doesn't want their child to have any kind of disability. Like that happens far more often than I see. And so I just want to say, like, keep being a strong dad, man. Like be your daughter's advocate. She is your kid. And you're seeing something your ex isn't seeing and refuses to see, and use the courts. You already know all this stuff, but just know you got a group of people here behind you, and please be coming back on these lives and keep us informed, keep us updated. Like we're part of your village.
Don't have the money to fight it because our parents are affluent.
Yeah,
and I am struggling to pay my mortgage because I had to buy her out for $70,000.
Is that like instead of child
to
support?
Keep my house and my job, and she moved 8 hours away.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I saved up to buy us a house and everything, support our family. We had 2 kids together.
Yeah. And
then she left and moved back to her family's, and she's living in a property that her family owns.
Yeah. What's the equivalent of CPS, Child Protective Services, in Canada? Do you know? Like, is there a protection? What is it called?
Family and Children's Services.
Family and Children's Services. This is one of those that I think for the safety of your daughter and her medical care, this is one that it would be a good idea to get them involved.
It's a weird situation though, because she is such a controlling person and a manipulator that she wouldn't even let my mom watch my daughter or anyone watch my daughter or my kids. She wouldn't even allow us to have a babysitter and go out.
But I know at least in the U.S.,
person.
you get CPS involved, and it's in this kind of situation, and that can get
My
the courts
mom,
involved.
my mom worked for them,
Oh, really?
and she wouldn't let my mom watch the kids. She's that kind of person. She's such a manipulator.
Wow. I'm sorry, man. We're here for you, and that just sucks. You got to move mountains for your kid, though, and that's what you're doing. Like I was in not the same situation, but like when I was trying to get my child diagnosed, we were on a 1-year wait list, and I moved mountains to make it happen, in a couple months. And you're doing all you can, but just keep staying strong. Keep us posted on these things, man. And I don't have an easy solution for you.
She tried to push it off and blame it on COVID and saying, "Oh, she's not socialized."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming up. Any last thoughts that you have before I? Let's see. Oops. Before we move on to the next person.
I would say, don't give up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Advocate.
Yeah.
Like my cousin who's 30 now, still nonverbal, but like
you got a warning. I gotta drop you for some reason, but thank you so much for sharing that. I do have to drop you now. I'm so sorry about that. You got a warning saying that your content contains themes that some may find uncomfortable. Interesting. All right, you guys. I am so sorry about that, and please stay strong. I appreciate your words of advice for the group as well. All right, you guys. How are we doing in the chat today? How's everyone doing? Let's keep on looking here. We have a lot of people asking, like, why are the rates of autism going up? Do you guys think it's vaccines? I want to know who's in the chat here. Put 1 in the chat if you're an autism parent. Do we have autism parents here? Put 1 in the chat. Put 2 in the chat if you have autism. Put 3 in the chat if you are just interested in this topic or wanting to learn or just here for whatever other reason, if 1 or 2 doesn't apply. We got a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. Oh, grandma, there we go. Hi, Ryamage. Good to see you. We got some 3s in here too. All right, you guys. Well, let's do a poll. I want to do a poll here. How do we do a poll? Everyone stay in here. We're going to do a poll and see if we change people's minds today. I want to know if vaccines cause autism. If I can learn how to do a poll. Oh, here we go. We're going to do a poll. Just give me 1 second. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to start this poll. A smiley face is going to mean that vaccines cause autism. Crying face means vaccines do not cause autism. Smiley face means they do cause autism. The crying face says they do not cause autism. And I think these polls are important. I really do. So again, smiley means they do cause autism. Crying means they don't cause autism. And even do smiley if you think it impacts autism. Not a full-on cause. If it impacts autism or can contribute to causing autism. And then crying if you don't think that there's any evidence that it causes autism. There we go. All right, 15 more seconds, you guys. Again, smiley means vaccines cause autism. Crying if it means vaccines do not cause autism. Let's go ahead and be seeing if you think it's a contributing factor. All right, guys, we are at 18 to 35. So we are about 2/3, about 67% believe that vaccines do not cause autism. Hey, that's not too bad. For those who think it, for those who think that vaccines contribute to autism, one thing I genuinely want you to think about is what would happen? What would it take for you to believe that vaccines don't cause autism? The CDC has come out and published. They recently changed some of their website to say it is no longer a truthful statement. It's not scientifically accurate to say that vaccines do not cause autism, because we just don't know. And the problem I have with that is that in science, you can never prove a negative. There is no way to say that vaccines do not cause autism. There is sufficient data already to show it. And I just worry that, a lot of the people here who think that vaccines cause autism, there's literally no amount of research or knowledge to change your mind. And if that's you, I'm concerned about that. That's a big deal. For me, if a randomized clinical trial came out and showed some sort of correlation with vaccines and autism, and it was replicated, you know what? I wouldn't be doing this live anymore. We would change our beliefs because that's how science works. We'd have to learn a lot about it, but we need to stop scaring people about this. Like, oh, but there's a chance. We really don't know. Like, check my bio. We know a lot. We've studied across millions of children across the world, and have found no even weak correlation that vaccines cause autism. There are some like random things that have come up. Someone shared on the live today, some very small subgroup of children that they studied showed that that Black children who, there was all these criteria that they were twice as likely to have autism if it was a vaccine. But if you looked at it a different way, it didn't show it. And when they tried to replicate that data with other studies, it wasn't replicated. So remember, replication you have to be able to do. It's not like some obscure data set. It's wild, you guys. What a good conversation. What a good conversation. You guys, make sure you're following me. I do have to hop off now. I appreciate all the support. We're going to be live tomorrow again around, the plan is around noon Eastern time is when I'll go live again. So make sure you're hitting me a follow. I go live usually in the mornings and then again at night, and it's just a fun thing for me to do. I love talking to you guys. I love these conversations, and thank you guys for being around, for keeping up with these positive conversations and keeping things kind. So we'll talk to y'all later.